Welcome to the Obscure Files. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into what could be considered the most haunted place in Arizona. Before that, I just want to thank each and every one of you for getting this channel to 200 subscribers. There was a bit of a break between the last video I posted to this video, but the content is coming back and I can't wait to keep providing you guys with more videos. If you aren't already subscribed, be sure you hit the subscribe button if you're into all things dark, strange, and weird. Thanks again, and here's to 200 more. Imagine yourself in the Wild West. You're probably thinking of getting a glass of whiskey at a saloon or dueling the local lawman to see who can draw their 44 quicker. While many places in the Old West were a hotbed of these types of activities, there's no place that resembles these times more than Tombstone, Arizona. And Tombstone, Arizona would not have been what it was in the days of the Old West without the Birdcage Theater. The Birdcage Theater was constructed in 1881 by William Hutchinson and his wife Lottie. The building was originally intended to serve as an upscale theater and an entertainment venue, featuring a variety of acts including theatrical performances and musical shows. The birdcage in the name is believed to have been inspired by the 14 small private boxes that adorned the theater's balcony, resembling bird cages. The theater's construction fell in line with the boomtown era of Tombstone, Arizona. The discovery of large silver deposits in the nearby hills had transformed Tombstone from a remote frontier outpost into a bustling and prosperous mining town. The influx of wealth and people brought with it a vibrant cultural scene, as well as the less savory elements of frontier life, including gambling, prostitution, and violence. Over time, the Birdcage Theater became infamous for vice and debauchery, giving it the reputation of being the wildest, wickedest night spot between Basin Street and the Barbary Coast, as the locals described it at the time. The Birdcage Theater operated during a tumultuous time in Tombstone's history, characterized by lawlessness, gunfights, and vigilante justice. As a hub of entertainment, gambling, and vice, the theater attracted a diverse and often volatile crowd, including miners, cowboys, gamblers, and outlaws. As was the case with many of these types of establishments at the time, this environment was a breeding ground for conflict and violence, resulting in numerous deaths within the theater's walls. The Wild West wouldn't be the Wild West without gunfights. The Birdcage Theater was a common place where gunfights would break out. Shootings often erupted over disputes at the gambling tables, romantic rivalries, or personal vendettas. Some of these shootings were accidental, while others were deliberate acts of violence. The confined spaces of the theater's interior made it particularly dangerous during altercations, with bullets ricocheting off walls and striking unintended targets. Alcohol-fueled disputes often escalated into physical altercations, with patrons wielding knives, broken bottles, or whatever was within reach to use as a weapon. Some of these fights quickly spiraled out of control and resulted in serious injuries and deaths. If you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you aren't already. Drop a comment and let me know what haunted place you'd like discussed in a future video. Any discussion about the dark history of the Birdcage Theater would not be complete without diving into the story of one of its most chilling murders. The story involves two working women and a man named Billy Milgreen. Milgreen was said to have been a frequenter of Little Gertie the Gold Dollar, who worked at the Crystal Palace, one of the Birdcage Theater's competitors. Many believed that there was a relationship between the two. One day, Billy Milgreen was caught by Little Gertie at the Birdcage Theater with another woman, Margarita. Margarita worked at the Birdcage, and Little Gertie saw this as losing a regular customer, perhaps also losing the man she loved. Margarita climbed onto Milgreen's lap. In a rage, Little Gertie is said to have stabbed Margarita repeatedly before fleeing the Birdcage Theater. Margarita would soon succumb to the stabbing. Little Gertie was later apprehended, but was released as there was no murder weapon, even though there were eyewitnesses at the theater. While the exact number of deaths at the Birdcage Theater is difficult to confirm, historical records and eyewitness accounts suggest that at least 26 individuals lost their lives at the Birdcage Theater. These deaths left a mark on the theater's history. The stories and legends of the Birdcage Theater has led it to being perhaps the most reportedly haunted place in Arizona, And one of the most haunted places in the United States, claims of a strange smell of cigars and whiskey have been reported by visitors and staff. Items being moved or disappearing have also been reported. Some have even reported hearing the strange sound of a phantom piano playing old rags to those still indulging from the other side. Like many other haunted places, the Birdcage has its share of exclusive paranormal activity. One such report is of the apparition of a woman that many refer to as the Lady in White. Those who have worked and frequented the Birdcage Theater have reported seeing a woman in a white dress and a bonnet. She appears frequently to the staff, and many claim that she looks as though she is of high status, contrasting the atmosphere of what used to be the bustling old Western theater. Many witness her in the poker room and stairwell of the theater, but it seems as though she does not care for the presence of others, as those who work at the Birdcage say that she ignores just about everyone. Though the legend of the Lady in White does not have much of an origin story, I believe it's safe to say it may be the ghost of a woman who fell victim to the old ways of the Birdcage Theater. The Birdcage Theater closed its doors in 1889 when the silver mines began to decline and Tombstone's population fell. In the 20th century, efforts were made to preserve and restore the Birdcage Theater as a historic landmark. In 1934, new owners began the process of restoring the building to its former glory. The Birdcage Theater embraces its dark past and offers ghost tours and paranormal investigations for those who want to be fully immersed in the times of the Old West. I'll leave a link in the description to the ghost tours page on their website if you yourself want to experience the echoes of those who once roamed inside. The Birdcage Theater stands as a testament to the frontier spirit of not just Tombstone, and not just of Arizona, but of the exciting and turbulent past of the American Southwest. On the next part of this series, we will travel to Arkansas, where we will discuss one of the most haunted places in the American Southeast. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.